Yo, yo, yo. That's how X normally sounds when his feelings
Something,
better.
something like that. Something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, something like that. X,
And we
yeah, hope you.
live.
And we
And
live.
we live.
Guys, today join Trishul, Shivar. Meli is our special guest. He will be joining us quite soon. Yeah, gents, how's it going?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, could be better, could be worse, but could be much, much better.
I don't think it could be worse.
Yeah, no, it couldn't be worse. Our
Actually,
stadium
before
literally
we get
falling
started,
down.
how was the weekend? Sports aside, let's just find out how you guys are doing. And then we'll then unpack this. Yeah, we'll unpack this. But like, let's get started. How you guys? How was the weekend?
Weekend was okay. Nothing too fancy. Didn't have anything big happening.
And your side, Mr. Liverpool?
I mean, we didn't play this weekend, but aside from that, yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good weekend. Yeah, I'm just keen for our game tomorrow and next weekend. I don't know how many tissues I'm gonna need, but yeah,
You're playing tonight, don't aren't you?
we're playing. Oh yeah, sorry,
Jeez, like the weekend was that
tonight.
good. Anyway, I think let's put Tuchel out of his misery. What's going on, man?
Can I say one thing? Like
Go
just
for it.
before we start,
Mm.
today I realized that Chelsea, the team that we're shitting on for free the whole year, actually
Yeah,
above United.
By
they've
three
been for
points.
the past 2 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
just putting it out.
I'm
Just
gonna mute myself now. I've said my piece.
well, they've Chelsea's been above Man United for the past 2 weeks. 3 points. We should have been ahead of Man United for about 3 weeks, but we
Mhm.
decided to lose that one game. I can't remember which team we were playing. Was it Brentford? I can't remember. We had we won that game, we would have been up ahead. Well, now technically by 6 points. But anyway, that's it. We're not going to focus on Chelsea for now. I think the story is, as the title states, Old Trafford is falling down, falling down. Yes, it is falling down. Tushil, what's going on, man, with your team?
Look, bro, for me, I wrote the season off after that Chelsea game, the that 4-3. And ever since then, it's just been it's just one of those things. Like it's gotten to that point where like I'm not excited to, put the screen on, watch United play because it's so drab. There's just nothing going on. Like yesterday's game was such a boring affair. There was not after Arsenal scored, they just didn't attack. For the majority of the game, they just didn't attack. I think they had maybe one or two chances for the rest of the game. The entire second half was just mostly United attacking, and then the odd chance that Arsenal had, it ended up with them on the counter, with United on the counter, and then just nothing happened. But United, I think, and like I was speaking to X a while ago, and it was like what happens now? Is Ten Hag gonna go? Is he gonna stay? It doesn't look like he's gonna go now because there aren't any managers available.
Mm.
And I mean, and you see, the thing for me is I would have sacked him last week and brought someone in so that we actually stand a chance in the final. And I was speaking to a group of my friends, and I was like, you know what? It's such a controversial shout, giving how much of shit I was giving him, and a lot of us are giving him. But I would have brought Solskjaer back as an interim for these last 4 weeks because he's probably the one manager in the Pep era that gave him the most problems. I think
Excuse me.
Solskjaer was I think Solskjaer
For
was the
is I think
only,
he's speaking in isolation. He's speaking Man United
yeah,
talk.
from
Yeah,
United,
yeah.
not Kron. I think in terms of everything about Liverpool, everything has been about Liverpool. I think in terms of how many times Pep beat United while Solskjaer was manager compared to vice versa, it's very, very close. And I think if you gave Solskjaer that one off, he could have done something. Look, we don't have a chance in that final. There's no chance. And honestly, yesterday's thunderstorm at the stadium and then The roof is leaking.
That was
The away
poetic
dressing
as
room.
no, no. That was very
Mm,
poetic though.
mm.
You have to,
The
you
away
have to give
dressing
it.
room was leaking. Like there was videos where it was pouring water in the away dressing room. The stairs, there was waterfalls going down. And it's always storming in Manchester. It's never been like that. And it's just sad to see, man. It's so sad to see because that's the reality of it now. And we have to accept it. We are in that Liverpool after Benitez,
30
before
year.
Klopp irrelevancy. We are in that Arsenal decade irrelevancy. Like we can say, oh, we're United, we're the biggest team, or we're worth the most. We are eighth. We are below Chelsea, who we've given shit to for 2 years. 2 years, Ishle. You've got it for 2 years, and now you're above us. That's how
I
that's
think
how bad it is.
that was coming me going above you, but um the weird part is on the thunderstorm and we say that
Mm,
Mother Nature is not doesn't have a sense of humor, um but I looked at Arsenal yesterday. Arsenal did something very mature yesterday. I don't think they even got out of first gear.
mm,
I don't know whether I'm biased, but
mm,
there
mm.
was no need for them to exert themselves that much.
I have always said that Arsenal play the best football in the league, better than City, because City will score a couple and then they're just like, okay, we're done here. Game management, 20 minutes, pass it around, give us a break. Arsenal go at you. They don't stop. That's why they have the highest goal difference. They don't stop. Against us yesterday, they were like that from the off. They scored and then they just took their foot off the gas. And I think, if anything, that's an embarrassment to United because
Yeah.
you're doing that
Well,
away from home at
yes.
Old Trafford against United. You are just taking your foot off the gas, game management, stuffing. I remember Saka going down, feigning the injury. I think it was Partey as well. Probably I'm wrong, but it was someone else. Just taking their time, 80 minutes, strolling around, taking a couple extra seconds on the corner kick, the throw in, and you're doing this away at Old Trafford, and it's like that's just so
I mean, if we're
embarrassing
being
for
honest,
United.
the rivalry between Arsenal and Man United, okay, sure, fine. It doesn't get close to Liverpool versus Man United, but the
Mhm,
rivalry has existed for the longest of
mhm,
time, and
mhm.
I'm trying to, besides Onana, because Onana, guys, we've been giving him shit the whole time, but yesterday he pulled some brilliant saves. He had a
Mm,
brilliant game. No, no, there's three saves that he
Look,
made that I'd
my
already
my
count.
jury with Onana is that a lot of people say, "Oh, but come on, he's making the good saves." That's what a goalkeeper does. But I'm like, when De Gea was making these same saves, it was okay, but he can't pass. Okay, but he's not getting off his line. Okay, but he's not doing this. Onana's passing hasn't been good. Onana has single-handedly cost us games, thrown us out of the Champions League by himself. But because he's making that game against Crystal Palace, Olise's goal went straight at him and he didn't save it. It was
True.
literally passive.
Mm.
I think that one of the other goals as well, the ball, it was passed. The ball rolled past him, and he just
So it's the, the
no.
the the easy ones he lets in, the difficult ones he saves.
Mm.
VAR, your view on what's going on at Old Trafford, theater of dreams, as they call it.
Whose dreams?
Honestly, I think we need to. I sound like an Arsenal fan from Arsenal fan TV, but we need to tear it all down, and we just need to just build it up again. I look. I don't think we're going to be competitive next season, regardless of who's in charge, of who the managers, of who we sign, because
I mean,
this is
Jose
a
is available.
two season. I'll
If you
take
need to win a
Mourinho,
cup final,
but
who
we're
else?
not going to get Mourinho. And also, this is a two-season job. The clear out that needs to happen at United, it's tragic. And also, you know what? I know X isn't here and Twos isn't here, but I am at the point now where I'm starting to question the Hoyland signing. I'm getting to that point. I look. I know he's young. He's 21. He's 22, but I was telling this to X yesterday. You're a 21-year-old dynamic striker. You're known for your pace and your power, but your positioning is horrendous. Hoyland's positioning is terrible. Nicholas Jackson, who couldn't finish his breakfast. has amazing positioning. And he has what 14, 15 goals in the league this season, and he
Yeah.
gets laughed at. With Hoyland, look, there's a player there. I believe Hoyland can become genuinely world class, but we need to sign another striker. He needs
Jackson
someone
is
above.
20. Jackson is 22, by the way.
Exactly, and he has more goals than him. And who gets clowned more? It's definitely not Hoyland. It's always been Jackson. But you see,
There's
the
a
thing is,
reason for it though.
yeah,
It's not
but
you
Jackson
can't
misses chances.
yeah,
That's
but
it.
you can't just look at the stats, right? Because you also have to look at the general play. Jackson is very good with his general play. He gets clowned because he misses easy chances.
And he gets himself
Hoyland
involved.
and he gets himself involved.
But to miss
Hoyland,
chances, you need to be in the right
you need to
position.
be in the right position, right? But
Mm.
the same thing happens with Darwin. But let me not get into Darwin. Hoyland is not getting any chances. And it's partly down to him, but it's also partly down to there is no one providing for him.
Mhm.
I say that contributes more to his
Yes,
output more than anything.
It does,
yes,
but
correct. Because
our
also
wingers are not going to contribute.
as a striker, if you make that run 3 times and you don't get the ball, you're not going to
It's
make it a
tiring,
fourth
man.
time. You're
Mhm,
It's
going to
tiring.
come
mhm.
short and try to play just to get on the ball and feel like you're involved. If and probably your most creative player is Bruno, but he hasn't been creative this season because he's also been thinking about, I need to score a goal. I need to do something to win us the
And
game.
he's also
I
been
can't
played out of position.
properly build up anything. Um, the problem at United is not one player. The problem at United
Mm.
is I don't even think you start with the squad. I think your squad is fine. I mean, it's not gonna
Mm-mm,
you're not
There's
gonna win
nothing there.
anything. You're not gonna win anything, but that squad should get you Champions League.
We're
No,
playing
I don't think
Casemiro
so.
and Johnny Evans at centre back.
I will
Uh-uh.
not hear a bad word against Johnny Evans.
He was
Casemiro, on the other hand,
look,
No.
Amrabat was
If
okay
we're being,
yesterday, but Amrabat, Kobe Menu should not be playing this much of football. He's
hmm
18. He just turned 19. He should
hmm
not be seeing that much foot. He's winning exactly. And the,
Indigo
the thing
for a
is,
defense.
he look. Hoyland will become a star. I do not believe we made a bad decision in signing him, but I believe we made a bad decision in signing him only. He is a
Yes.
striker where you need a Teremi. You need a think of Mandzukic back in the day. You need someone like that who's just going to come on, get the goals, show him, okay, this is how you move. You do this, you get into this area. McTominay is scoring the goals that Hoyland should be scoring. I've said this before.
nah,
Hoyland,
Kind
and
of like what
also
Dzeko was for Aguero.
exactly, and
yeah.
also with the point you made about Bruno, Bruno creates, but how do you create when Bruno is effectively playing as a six? Bruno is playing on the right. When Bruno played as
He's
a
too
10,
deep. He's
he
too
scored
deep.
7 goals and had 3 assists in a month. And he assisted twice for Hoyland, I believe, in that. And only 2 of those 7 goals were pens, or maybe even one. And that's when he played as a 10 because Ten Hag had no choice but to play him as a 10. But for the
On
majority of the season,
mhm. On Bruno, I don't know if you guys saw the comments that were made by Wayne Rooney.
no,
So
no.
he
So that was
say
taken out of context. That whole I know what you're talking about, where you said that some players are injured or saying that they're injured. It's just that they don't want to play. That
I
that was
actually
taken out
watched.
of context.
It wasn't out of context. I watched the whole interview because I was just like sitting
Mm,
there, just like yeah. And so Shivara, Mr. Vieira, what he's basically saying is that he's seen professionals do it time and time again, where
mhm,
they unavail themselves because there's either a major a final that's coming up, or they're going to be going say the World Cup, or so it's that time of the season where
mm,
the minds are not there. They're either beachside or they've got the Euros, they've got the
mm,
final coming up right now. And because the one thing that is a weird one for me is Rashford and Bruno trained on Friday with the
mhm,
first team.
mhm,
And it was a proper training. They interviewed the manager. He was very happy with the. I don't know whether
mhm.
there was a bluff. Sorry, I don't know whether there was a bluff to Arsenal. But next thing, they're not even on the bench.
Squad,
Like
yeah.
I couldn't understand what was going on there. Sorry.
I
And then
wouldn't blame Bruno for the injuries because he's been playing with an injury for 6 months. Rashford, I'll blame him for getting injured because he came back, got injured. He should have said to the medical staff, "I'm injured. I don't want to play." Mason Mount was injured for half the season, comes back, has 4 out of 10 performances, and he's injured again. With Bruno, this guy has played through injuries. I don't know what happened because he's also missing the game on Wednesday against Newcastle.
how do you, wait?
Ten
Has
Hag,
he?
Ten Hag said that. Ten Hag said that I think after the Arsenal game or one
Oh fuck.
one of the
I think
press
I think
conferences, he
I
also
think
missing the
Tenak
game against Newcastle.
he needs I don't know, he needs a crash course in holding interviews,
Yeah,
because the more he speaks, the more that, like, you don't tell Newcastle that.
Newcastle are licking their lips knowing that United's best player is not going to be there. We haven't
But
created a single chance in these
but
2 games
okay,
that Bruno hasn't
do
played.
you
Yesterday,
do
sorry
United have
Shiva,
anything left to play for other than the
Yes,
cup final?
this
yes. If
What?
Europe, yeah.
Europe, we can still
But
make
like,
Europa League. Right now, we're not in
are
any
you not?
European competition.
Won't you get to Europa League anyway?
If
No,
you
we
win
have to
the
win
Because
if
the
you
FA
you
Cup.
will
If you win
no
it,
no, but you will be the FA Cup runner up, and City will be FA Cup winner and league winner. So doesn't that get you Europa League?
no.
So there's still a question mark around that, and they
Okay.
cannot rely on that, because
I think if
yeah.
City won the Champions League and they weren't in top four, because that's how I remember.
No.
There's a whole new
Oh
UEFA
yeah,
system
yeah, yeah,
for that
yeah.
year. So we have to win the FA Cup, and if we finish seventh and don't win the FA Cup, we're not even put in automatically into the Conference League. We have to do that 2-leg playoff thing in the middle of August. You know that.
Imagine, imagine having to qualify for the Conference League.
Yeah, where we go and play some random Kazakhstanian team where there's a train track going through the stadium and we have to
Oh,
lose.
well, at least you get to travel and get your mind out of the league. That's
Yeah,
how
see a new
I see it.
country.
Yeah, see a new country and
Look, I
get
would
your
take
development team.
Europa League or Conference League just so that whatever we're building, we do have games where whoever's managing can try something new. But I don't know. Look, for me, I've written off the season because I don't think we're winning the cup. We're not going to stand a chance in the cup, especially if City don't win the league. If City
Even
don't
if they
win,
do,
they're not going to
even if they
go
do,
trophyless. Yeah, there's
nah,
no
even
chance.
if they do,
There's no
yeah.
chance.
But you never know. It's a game of football. It's played over 90 minutes, and Rashford is going to be
You
back.
guys played quite well against him in the last game as well.
No,
Hmm?
we played well against him for 10 minutes, and then after that, we didn't
No,
see the
no,
ball.
no. I thought you guys played really well until Johnny Evans got subbed off, and then everything just capitulated.
Can you talk about Evans? Can they just let the man retire? Like,
Yeah,
that goal, he's to blame for that goal, if we're being honest. I get Casemiro um being in a position that I don't know what the fuck he was doing. Okay.
but you
But
shouldn't be so high up. You can't be
Johnny
that high up.
sticks, yeah, Johnny sticks to Havertz. And I don't know whether he's thinking he's going to try and dribble him past, or he's going to have a shot. He gives him so much of space, and
Mm,
Kai looks at it and is like, "Well, I've got this much space. I can literally
mm,
just go in there." And Evans is not the fastest anymore. And I hear a lot of people say he had a decent game. No, he didn't.
mm. Look, the
I
guy has
think
won the Champions League, countless league titles. Just let him retire in peace. He's 36. Let him retire in peace.
so.
He
So
he
there's two things
deserves
with
to go
Evans,
off
right?
into the sunset.
The first thing with Evans is he actually hasn't had a bad season. Like every time I've watched him play, he's been look, he hasn't been amazing. You're not asking him to be amazing. He wasn't amazing even in his prime, but I've always felt like he made the defender next to him look really good. Like whoever played next to Johnny Evans looked amazing, even though Johnny Evans didn't look that amazing. And that normally boils down to just being an experienced head and knowing how to marshal a defense.
Yeah,
Mm,
That's pretty
that's
much
that's
all he needed to
that's
do.
okay. I'm
I
pushing it now. I'm When I say that's like Silver, but you can tell when Silver starts for Chelsea, in that the defense is
mm,
very well marshaled. He can tell
yeah.
them, like, go here, go there, go, and there's no question marks around. what
Yeah,
he says
because you
because
don't
he's done
you
it
don't
all. He's
question
done it
Thiago
all.
Silva, right?
I think
Yep.
Chelsea are
Thank
making a
you.
mistake letting Silva go, if I'm honest. I know it was
Yep.
his decision, but that's a
Yeah, I
big
think
mistake.
he's tired. He wants to go because I think
I also
he
don't
had
think he can play
mentioned.
90 minutes anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, especially in the
he
Premier League.
mentioned he wants to just spend time at home, home being his native land,
Brazil,
and
yeah,
you can understand, man. I think we got him for free. That in
yeah,
itself is freaking crazy, and he's given us what 4 seasons that I think were pretty decent. Got a Champions League medal. Yeah, so let him go to the sunset, or let him retire. Should have done what Evans did. The other thing that I wanted to pick your brains on, guys, is I don't know if you saw the incident with Anthony where he refused to swap flanks mid game. So when they were making substitutions, he gets
you go
told
left
that
back.
yo, you have to go and play left back, and he literally says no.
Mm.
Left back.
And
Yeah, his best position, his best
he
Left
position.
he
back.
and then he says no, like, and then you could see McTominay dragging him over
Mm,
to like, yo, you moving to play that position.
mm,
And it was a weird it was a weird moment. In I can understand we're fighting over a penalty because we've fought over a penalty. But now
mm.
we're making substitutions and we're telling you that this is the position you're going to play, and then you fight. And the thing is, he's not had a brilliant season for him to think he's got a
Yeah.
word in saying which position he can play and which position he can't play. I don't know whether I'm maybe the 100 mil or the 80 mil that you was paid for him has gone to his head.
Look,
All of
with
these
Anthony, it's
individual little problems.
yeah.
That's
Head up,
where
yeah.
they all add up. They all add up. Like okay, the issue with Salah fighting with Klopp, like that was really okay. At the time it looked bad, but afterwards it was pretty
It
much of a
fizzled
muchness,
over.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm,
yeah.
And
Mm.
the reason for that is it happens and then nothing else happens
mhm,
for a long time. And then you realize that no, all this was it was Klopp wanted to give Salah a hug and Salah didn't see him. And Salah carried on, with his warm up or
It's
whatever.
it's a
And
hit
then
of the
Klopp
moment.
went to
It's a
shake
hit
his
of the
hand. Yeah,
moment thing, and it ends
yeah,
there.
that's
But
it.
with Man United, uh, you
It keeps
guaranteed Man United. Yeah,
every week.
like
Every
every
week I'm hearing a new story. Shame, this poor
there's
guy at work. Every Monday he looks at me and I can just see he's got a sad story to tell me about what happened with United this weekend. And now I must go have coffee and listen to him. And I'm trying not to laugh, but it's 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 honestly sad. It's honestly sad. Like Ferguson never would have stood for that. Not
oh
even
no.
Ferguson. Gary Neville, Rio Ferdinand never would have stood for that. And I think that's why Johnny Evans was brought in because he shouldn't be standing for that either. It's just
Mhm,
now he doesn't really have a leg to stand on because
mhm.
he
he's old.
was yeah, and
Leg to
he
stand
was
Under
on.
never
under a
world class
manager
in
like
his peak.
Ferguson, even though Anthony came on in the whatever minutes later on in the second half, if he refused to go left back, Ferguson would have taken him off and brought on a 16-year-old at left
And
back.
sold him.
Wouldn't have
Yeah,
cared.
And
Yeah.
sold him. He'd have to
yeah.
like I don't know walk home or something.
Mm. That's the difference.
No,
And Anthony has done this before. In that Liverpool game, he didn't want to play at left back. He was pulling his face, and Bruno had to drag him. And the thing is, I mean, look, we give Casemiro shit. He's playing at centre back. Bruno played at centre back how many times this season in the later games? He's playing right wing. Players have played out of position. Count Garnacho, even though he
But
found his best place on the right.
but also
But like,
it's Anthony. Like Pep
he
shipped
hasn't done.
Cancelo off
Yeah,
yeah,
for
he hasn't done
free.
anything.
Well, okay, not for free in terms of price tag, but for like minimal discretions. Pep is like, sharp, off you go. Even
hmm
Klopp, when Klopp came in, he was quite ruthless with who he got rid of.
hmm our manager is not
I
ruthless
think
enough.
no, man. I think the one problem with your manager is he suffers from the same delusional behavior that Arteta suffered last season, where Arteta reckoned he was the second coming. I don't know whether the trophies that freaking Ten Hag had won in Eredivisie, whatever, have gone to his head, and he thinks that he's arrived. And if he has arrived, he should have let the players know who the manager is. He might have done it with one or two players, hoping that it
He
filters
tried
through.
to do Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, hoping it filters through. And
Look,
in
it was
him
the right
doing it,
decision, but you don't do that with Cristiano Ronaldo.
it was
Like
so
I
messy.
wanted him gone, but you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
It was so messy that it literally allowed for disrespect from other players. I don't know if
Mhm.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
Not
did.
the messy
It
part
did.
in Cristiano, but anyway. Then that whole Sancho thing that happened, and then not the
Brazil was in
same
a Champions League final.
punishment. Yeah, not the same on the same breath. What's his name? Mr. Tequila goes out and has a bender. I think you guys lost against Liverpool, and then he still went out for dinner. It was his birthday celebration, and he got
Mhm.
caught pictures and
Was it
whatnot. I
against?
get end of the
I
day,
think it was Liverpool, but it was also after the City game after we lost, and he went
was
out
it
for the
City or
nightclub.
Liverpool? Yeah, well, it
It
was one
was
of
the City
those.
game. It was the
But
City game.
the punishment is not sustained. It's not the
He
same
started
across
the next
board.
game. He started the next game.
Yeah.
You
So
can't have
I
that.
don't know where. Yeah, I don't know where he gets that from. In what's his name? Ferguson made a very difficult decision. He took Beckham and he said, "Yeah, you can go,"
Mm.
because he
Jaap
just
Beckham
took
was
Stam,
shipped.
that.
Van
David
Nistelrooy
Beckham,
was shipped. Peter Schmeichel was
Van
shipped.
Nistelrooy,
Yeah.
Peter
Peter
Schmeichel.
Schmeichel was shipped.
Legends, bona fide
Mm.
Yes.
legends. Some of these are not
Jaap
United
Stam.
legends, but football legends.
Yeah.
And
He
Ferguson's
said,
like, nope, I don't care.
"You're going to
Off
be a
you go.
problem in my dressing room. I can't have that." And I do feel there are problem players at United in that dressing room. And the
There's
more that
only
we
been
ignore,
one player since 2016 that has been in the team, that's always been from this entire team that's been there since 2016, and that's Marcus Rashford. He has been, and it has been proven that he's a problem. Mbappe is off to Madrid, we know it. Just go to PSG. Just go to PSG. They want to build
they'll,
something with good talent. Just go. You're not look. If Rashford is a good player, which I believe he is, he's not going to be loved by the entire fan base. It's always going to be
True.
50-50. But Manchester, the fans from Manchester are going to love
and
him because he's born and bred.
I think
That's his. That's
if he
no.
goes PSG, he doesn't really have to apply himself that much. His
Nope.
50% will be good enough.
Hmm. And that'll be the
Because
level
I
he
disagree.
enjoy.
I disagree because he's not that type of player. He's not
he's
a player who can put
inconsistent,
in 50%
but
and
he's
still be
inconsistent.
effective. He he's very good at doing one thing, like world class at doing one thing, but that's his trick.
Being surprising and like catching the defender out. Because ask him to take his
And
man on, he can't do that. Ask him to be creative, he
get
can't do that.
Rashford running in behind on a counter, right? And it is scary. He is scarily
Because
good
he's got a
at
shot in
that.
him and whatnot.
He's got a shot. He's got that good cut in. He
mm,
he's he's very okay. He's not a good dribbler, but he's very good at keeping the ball away from the defender when he's running at pace. Like I
the
know that's
re-
very specific, but he's good at that. And he's also like okay, he scores goals, but he's also like he's got an eye for the cutback. Like he's very good in that
Mhm.
situation. As
he's
soon
got
as he's
he's,
trying to
he's got an
build
eye for
up,
the spectacular as well. Yeah, I hear
yes,
what you're saying. But
but as
Rashford is
soon
a
as
let
flash
he's
in the
trying
pan
to
player.
build up, as soon as he has to be involved in the build-up play, he's now.
A
I'd rather
passenger.
have Garnacho, a
He's a
passenger,
passenger.
exactly.
He's a passenger.
mm,
United need to sign. Look, I looks like we are going to be in for Elise. I don't see why he would come. But I think Garnacho is better on the right. Personally, I think, we don't have a functioning left winger. And that's why I
You could
disagree that
have
you
a
said that we
functioning
have a
left
good
winger.
team.
You could
Garnacho,
have a
Garnacho has
functioning left
been
winger.
very
No,
bad at left wing
if you
recently.
set up your team properly, you could have a good left winger if you play Bruno at 10, Rashford on the left, and Hoyland at striker, and just play on the counter. You're not going to win any trophies, but you'll get back into Champions League. And once you're in Champions League, then you build your team from there. Ten Hag, I don't know what he tried to do. There was a period last year where he was playing counter-attacking football, and that's when
Mhm,
Rashford looked very
mhm,
good.
mhm.
And then all of
He
a
stopped.
sudden, he brought in Weghorst, and now he's trying to play a more, what's the word? It's like he's trying to press high, but the defenders don't want to go high. The
Mhm,
midfielders don't have the legs, and the forwards are just not that type of player.
mhm,
You know what
So,
happened there? What happened was the comparison with him and Ole, because the fans were saying, and I remember this very well. The fans were saying, "Well, you're playing the exact same football from a manager that we just let go of,
mhm,
which is
mhm.
uh,
And he
which
was.
is catching him
He
on the
was.
I want to go.
and
The,
I want to
that
go
yeah.
back to
irritated
this,
him."
right? It also worked for Ollie until he got put under pressure to try and win trophies,
Yes,
right? And then he tried
Mm,
to change it
mm-mm,
up, and then it all
mm-mm,
went south. It worked
mm-mm.
for Ollie. Ollie's finished second, and I'm sure.
With Solskjaer, it was he was let down. Solskjaer told them, buy Rice, buy Bellingham, buy Haaland, buy Gvardiol, buy
Oof, that's
Alvarez.
that's a decent
Oh yeah, I
buy.
heard.
That's a
I heard about the Haaland one, but apparently, you did try for Haaland, but Haaland said no.
No, no, no. We had the Haaland, everything was agreed, but Raiola wanted a release clause.
Hmm.
We had Bellingham in Carrington, but then our head
We
of
have Bellingham at
negotiations or
Anfield. Like,
our guy walked in and tried to sell the thing. With Alvarez, we don't want to pay 3 million. With Caicedo, we don't want to pay 3 million. With Rice, we don't want to pay 50 million, and we bought Ronaldo instead. That
who
could have
was
been
it
easily.
that um instead of calling in David Beckham to meet him, you called in some like tier 2 player, like to meet them instead, and that's why they didn't join.
I think you're confusing with Bellingham, where we had Cantona and Ferguson, and before Ferguson could talk to Bellingham, Richard Arnold came and took Bellingham's family away to go and show them the place.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Ferguson, like
okay.
Solskjaer said it in his interview with Gary Neville, Ferguson was about to take Bellingham by himself and talk to him. And then Richard Arnold came and was like, no, 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 bring your whole family. Let's show the. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
this.
I agree with that.
he
I agree with that.
he caught feelings over this, and
Mhm,
why only he knows. If the team is winning, stick to that. Who's the Spurs manager? That guy,
Postecoglou.
Ange.
he's been found out this is his style of football, and he doesn't have a
Mhm,
plan B. And you know what,
mhm.
I respect him more than I do Eric, and he's been there for like less than one season.
The thing is, you should tweak it. You shouldn't change it.
Mhm.
That's the important part.
Jude
Bringing
saw
in
the room and
Weghorst and
freaked
playing
out.
him at 10 and then playing Bruno on the right. When I realized that Eric didn't know what he was doing was that game against Liverpool, where Trent was having the worst season of his life or worst patch of
and
form
it-
in his
and
life,
and it made him
and he
shine.
didn't and he didn't play Rashford on the left. He played Bruno on the left, he played Rashford up front, and he played Weghorst at 10. And,
10.
and oh, he had one
But
job.
I think
One.
your
Yep.
manager, we've spoken about this in that he struggles with interviews, because I watched his interview over the past weekend where he's saying that he's got 7 of his starters injured, and I'm like, which 7? I don't
Varane,
know whether no, I
Shaw,
don't know if
Varane Martinez Shaw, um,
Bruno.
Bruno
Bruno and
Rashford.
Rashford. That's five. Uh,
Where's Hoyland? Is Hoyland around?
yeah, Haaland
He
played
started.
yesterday. Haaland started. Yeah, it's those five.
So I'm
I think
like,
he's talking about Mount, but
But
Mount
but
can
who
start for
who is
Liverpool.
your starters? Like, because that's also what I was
that's
gonna say. Like,
that's another
sh-
thing, because he said that, and I sat there for a minute, and I was like, okay, my football knowledge is quite decent, and I know the squads very well, but I couldn't figure out the 7 starters that he spoke of.
Hmm. Hmm. I think with our team, it's Onana, Dallo. Okay, if everyone's fit, then Varane, Martinez, Shaw, Casemiro. I don't know who plays that box to box role because it probably will be Mainu. Bruno
Scott,
at 10. That's the problem. Did you see where
Scott
McTominay was
Maxwell,
playing yesterday?
or
McTominay played at
or
10 yesterday.
if
Dude.
if 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 it was a young Casemiro, then you go Mount, next to him to play the box to box role.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Mason Mount is not a Manchester United footballer. He's not an Eric Ten Hag footballer. That's the thing. Mount is not, and Sishle, you'll agree with me. Mount is not a possession player.
Nope.
Mount is there to
He
win
does a
the
gal
ball, give it off,
he does a
and
Gallagher.
do it.
He's
Yeah, he's
they've
not
been
a
trained in the
he's not a
same.
player. Yeah, he's not a possession player. He's not going to go and play for Barcelona. He's not going to go and play for City. You play under Klopp, where he's there to press, win the ball, and give it off, and be dynamic and be attacking. But Ten Hag claims he wants to play this possessive-based football where it's a high line, you're pressing. Mount just presses, but he's not even pressing. It's I'm running at you. I'm going to hope you're going to make a mistake, and then
There's
even
a
if I
difference between the two.
yeah, I'm going to win the ball, and then I do nothing with it. Absolutely nothing with it.
There was I was
So
watching
yeah,
I was paying special attention to make source. And the one thing that really made me laugh is um you win the ball, which is the most difficult part in any game. And then but like what do you do with it?
yeah,
Which is the
yeah.
simplest part, because all you do is once you've won it, you look up for who is dressed like you, and you literally give him
Mm,
the ball and say, okay, you're the more creative person. I've
mm.
won the ball, there you go. But he
There's
couldn't
only
do
three
that
players in
yesterday.
our team that do that. Out of the 28, 29 man squad, there's only three players that do that, and that's Martinez, Bruno, and Menu. Nobody else does that. Win the ball, and they know what they're going to do.
But I
None.
also if we had to give if you rate Menu yesterday, what would you give him?
I'd give him a 6. He's tired. You can see he's tired. He's been run into the ground, and that makes me worry. Because remember, at the start of the season, he was injured for the first couple months. I would give him a 6. He was.
The best thing he can do is get out of that club.
No,
Go to
Honestly, I wouldn't
Barcelona.
blame him.
it's
I
too
wouldn't
late.
blame him.
He's drank the Kool-Aid. I think he feels it's part of the culture. Not understanding that the culture is properly messed up.
I thought Dallo was
It's
our best player, but the thing that I
oh
can't stand about
yeah,
Dallo
he
is
was.
he has this bad habit of taking a long shot when the shot is not on because he scored a couple long shots. It's very frustrating.
I don't blame him. I think the frustrating part is when he gets into a position where he can take a shot or he can pass the ball, there's no one asking for the ball,
Yep,
or there's no one
yep,
in
and
a position to
that's
receive the
where I
ball.
come back to Hoyland. That's where you're a fullback ready to cross in. Hoyland is not in the box. Hoyland is behind two defenders. McTominay is the one making the late run. It just adds up.
Your Argentinian boy came right in the second half, but in the last 15 minutes of the game.
Mm.
But besides that, there's
The
nothing
end
else to
product,
speak of.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Oh
end
yeah, the end
product
product
wasn't
is.
there.
I think he's still a kid.
Yeah, he is.
He will develop into, I wouldn't say world class beater, but there's a decent winger in there.
You see,
Um,
there will come a season where it will click for him. You can see it. Watching him, there's these moments where he does something that very few wingers in the league do consistently. He
true.
he gets a burst of pace, but he also has control in his strides. So think of like when Salah's gone past you. The ball is not one, it's not a kick and run. He's
Yeah.
controlling the ball and still running with it. Garnacho does that. It's weird. It doesn't look right, but it's gonna click for him. It's gonna click for him and he's gonna be very dangerous. But the thing is, he's also another one that was thrown into the deep end and expected to perform miracles because you're a Manchester United academy player. It's in our history, it's in our DNA. The academy player is supposed to be the one that's gonna save us. We can't keep doing that to these kids. It started with Januzaj, it went to Pereira, then it went to Rashford. Now it's gonna be Garnacho and Mainu. We can't keep doing this to them for the sake of their own careers. Because once it doesn't click and once it doesn't work, they're gonna get
Your fan
abused.
base, yeah, your fan base
Yeah.
are going to, yeah, they're always waiting for these kids to
Mhm.
fail. You remind me of Januzaj, who I thought
Yeah.
there was a player there, one of the many I got wrong. Um,
It's not just you,
the,
Sisley. I don't blame you. The
Before
propaganda on that one was strong.
we
There
before
was
we,
some
we switch
proper,
over
proper,
nah,
proper propaganda there.
before we switch over to the next topic, because I want to talk about United, there is one player I have to mention, and that's
mhm,
Diallo. Because yesterday that kid put in a solid right winger inverted performance where
yeah,
he's on the wing and he inverts into midfield and he dribbles. And I said this to one of my mates. Diallo is what Anthony thinks he is.
deep.
Because
It's deep.
Diallo is a player where he gets the ball, he'll take you on. And also, he has such a good pass on him. But he doesn't play because Anthony is Ten Hag's favorite. He costs 80 million pounds. He has to play or he's gonna complain.
It's it's an old argument on well, you've spent so much, so that player is
Mhm.
a guaranteed starter.
It's
Arsenal, is
called the
there
sunken
anything?
cost fallacy, and it shouldn't be applied to football because the
Mhm.
money's gone. Playing him is not going to get you the money back.
Mhm. Right, Arsenal.
Is
Like
there
that.
anything
Look,
to speak? Is there anything to speak there? Because I think you guys didn't put up a
all I'm
fight,
gonna say
and
is all I'm gonna say to about Arsenal is, look, I've been there. I know what it feels like. Just make your peace with it. Like I should have made my peace with it for all
I
those years.
I don't think it's over because City don't beat Spurs away from home. City don't beat Spurs
My
away from
guy,
home.
my guy. Do you think Spurs want Arsenal to win the league?
Yeah,
And
there is
also,
well,
and also, it's Spurs.
it's the
Like,
Spursy thing.
what do I
yeah,
always say
Arsenal.
about Spurs? The minute you are at a
you
point in
bank
your
on them.
season when you are relying on Tottenham to do you a favor, just go home.
Yeah,
Just go home.
yeah.
I
Um,
can see Spurs catching 20.
but
Like,
do you realize though that even if City lose tomorrow, they might still take it?
mm,
Because
no,
I
if
think
they
that's what.
draw,
Arsenal
if
playing
they draw,
Everton. If
If
they
they, sorry,
if
draw,
they
then
draw,
if they draw tomorrow,
yeah.
it's
because
a goal
I don't know if you
difference.
guys have been I don't know if you guys have been watching Everton lately. Sean Dyche has done some magic with
But
the with
I
that
think they're
team.
safe now. So
Mm.
But still,
Can I
they've
just
won
say
a
Brantwaite and Onana from Everton? Bring.
Branthwaite is
Brantwaite.
class. He is
Bring.
class.
Bring
He
both of
is
them.
class.
Bring.
No, he's a
no,
scouser. He's
not
a scouser. He
yeah.
comes this way. He's a scouser. I don't remember
From
the last
Everton.
time. I don't remember well, so is Jamie Carragher, but I don't
Yeah,
remember
but
the
Jamie
last time
Carragher
a
will
player
do.
swapped went from
From
directly between the two teams.
No,
But
that doesn't happen. And
he's a
normally there's
scouser.
a you have to catch a train to go the other side. But I don't want that boy to go to Man United. I don't.
We'll
I'm
Yeah,
not
ruin
going to
him.
be buying.
We'll ruin him.
United.
We'll ruin
Yeah,
him.
I don't want Chelsea shouldn't buy any players. Well, not we'll get to Chelsea in a moment. But
I don't know
I
if you still
don't.
want Pochettino out, by the way, because Chelsea have been playing some really good football. Yeah. I
I
said
had a
this
I had
earlier
a
this season.
I had a good
You
think
guys are going
about
to be
this, and
50-50.
yeah, um, he's turning it right at the worst time, where
Yeah.
the ink is about to dry on the out or on the T and out. And
Mhm.
then he's under pressure now. He's turning it. Once we say it's fine, he can stay. How do we know that he is going to have the same effect as he's having right now, which is the scary part?
I think the problem with Chelsea is you have a lot of young players who
Mhm.
have experience, so they've played a lot of football for their age, but they're still like young. So they know how to
Mhm.
play football and they're good
Yeah,
footballers, but their personalities haven't developed yet to
Mhm.
take responsibility of a football match.
true.
And and
And
I think a
I've got a
lot of
weird
the
one
time,
also. I feel
yes, so
go
sorry,
for it, go
a
for it.
lot of the time I feel like you guys are okay in the first half and then just absolutely shit the bed in the second half.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I've got a view on that. I think Europe is going to be good for us. The more games
Mhm.
we play, the
Mm,
better it'll be for the team because you can then
yeah,
start rotating these players. Um,
yeah.
and the more you rotate them, because they are eager, they are young, and we've got quite a few players that are doing very well that we've loaned out. So I think Europe is going to be good for us. Because I was this past weekend. Declan Rice, sorry, not Declan Rice. Reece James comes on. I'm
Mhm.
like, he's gonna need like 2 3 games for him just to settle in and be the Reece that we know and whatnot. He has an assist. What's his name? Guy that runs
Modric's
funny,
goal
runs like
was very well taken as well.
It
That's
was,
that's the
but I
80
think
million pound player.
Sterling's goal is also very. It's you have to put some respect in that. That's a
Mhm,
brilliant goal. He's famous for that cutting in and then bending it past the keeper. That was a brilliant
mhm,
goal because I think a lot of Chelsea fans have written Sterling off. They want him
mhm.
gone. They want to trade him for who's that kid, the Olisi kid at Palace, because I'm seeing
Palace, yeah.
talks
Which would be
Can we
very
saying
just
that.
stupid.
talk about how good that guy is?
Yeah. No,
Like
he's
how
brilliant.
did he end up at Palace? Like
Yeah,
how?
Mateta's good
um
as well.
do
Mateta's
you know
also
that
good.
he yeah. Yeah, Mateta is Mateta is something else, guys.
Mm,
He offers them something that they've been missing for the longest of time, and it's quite
mhm,
weird. You've got a squad that exact same squad because I don't think they've brought anyone in. That was shit under what's his name, the
Patrick,
old defrosted man, not Patrick.
Patrick,
Hodgson.
Roy.
Hodgson.
Under
Hodgson.
Hodgson.
They
Yeah, Hodgson
defrosted
came
and they need
in.
to survive. They just call him,
Yeah,
bro.
and then the queen said, "No, guy, it's time for you to retire." Also. Exactly the same players, but like right now you're seeing them expressing themselves
Mhm,
It's
but
coaching. Like it's just
mhm,
coaching. It's what X keeps telling us about. It's just like how Pep and Klopp generally make their players better,
mhm,
but not many other managers do that. Like
mhm,
it seems like a lot of managers want to be able to pick the team and decide who signs and all of that, but none of them actually want to take the players that they have and improve them.
mhm.
Well, okay, that's a bit harsh, but it it doesn't seem like many managers are improving the players that they have. Maybe one or two, but a lot of that is because the players got a good head on
It's
his shoulders.
natural. It's natural
Oh yeah,
progression
and
as
it's just
well.
natural progression. But
there's
a
that
lot of
kid
these
also. They've
stopping City, nah,
Uh, nah, nah.
nah.
I
I,
don't
I,
want
I
Arsenal to
want
win the league.
I want the Arsenal fans to feel what we felt
They
all
only
those
did.
years.
like
They
cut them
only
to
did that.
size.
No, 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 no. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. I want them to feel losing on the last game of the season when you've
The
got
second
over
time
90
round,
points.
the second time round, it hurts even more.
Well, the first time round, it kind of didn't hurt because we were like, just happy to be there.
It's
after
part of the
after like the
conversation.
previous 5 seasons we had, we were just like, happy to be involved. And we picked up a Champions League on the way, so it was fine. The second time it really hurt. It really,
Mhm.
really hurt the second time.
Mm,
And then
yeah.
by the time the third time came around, we were just like, cool. We made our peace with it.
Uh, on Palace, they've got that English kid, Wharton.
Ezra. Oh,
Oof,
Watson. Yes,
Wharton,
yes. Also
Wharton.
another good
Adam.
one.
Oh, beautiful to watch.
Another good
Like
one.
beautiful, beautiful to watch. Though the scary part is that it looks like Bayern is interested in the Palace manager all
He
of a
won't
Oh,
sudden.
go.
what's his name?
He has a
I don't know
heavy
his
name, but
name.
I know
I
they wanted him for like 18 million. Like Bayern offered
yeah,
18 million for him, and then Palace were like, no. And I don't know if this was a serious thing, but they said we want 100 million.
100 million. Yeah, they said they want 100
No,
million
yeah, hands off. But I mean,
for a
look,
manager.
he took Crystal Palace and he got them playing. I mean, Eze and Olise are just brilliant. And I didn't even know what a Mateta was until a few months ago. Wow,
What's a Mateta? It's a
yeah.
dessert. No, Mateta he's coming right,
Mhm.
and I do feel Palace must do everything to hold on to the current squad. Don't dismantle it. Don't let any of those two boys leave. As in, don't
Olise has a release clause, so it's out of their
What's
hands.
his
I think
release clause?
it's about 50 to 55 million, which is
I
nothing
think
for a player like that.
I think if Arne Slot is sharp about it, he should
Your Salah replacement,
he
he
should
can
yeah.
do that.
mm,
He
Yeah.
can do that.
yeah,
He
yeah, he
can.
can.
On the
But I
Salah
think
thing,
also United seems to be interested. But
Look,
United
if
right
look
now is interested in
look
yeah,
any and
we'll
everyone.
take anything,
yeah.
anything. I
As
don't
long as
see
it has
many
two
signs.
legs, like you
Yeah.
guys.
Personally, I think this is the first time in many years, and I play football manager. I know footballers, I know young players, I know good players. This is the first time I'm like, I don't know who we sign because A, it's we're gonna be overpaying, or B, they're not gonna want to come to us. The best centre back for us is Bastoni. we're not going to pay 70 million for Bastoni. Bastoni's not going to want to come to us. Branthwaite, Everton have
Like,
not
what are you
gotten.
offering? What are you offering? Because if you don't
Yeah,
even make if you don't make Europe,
nothing. Branthwaite
but I think
won't leave Everton for less than 60 or 70 million. They've got financial problems. They're going to want to run up whoever's buying him. It's not going to be a thing where they're going
So
to have to let him go.
let's go back, right? And I like to use early Klopp and Edwards as the model because when we were sort of up and coming, we didn't really buy any one of these big. Maybe Bobby Firmino was kind of in demand, but the other players,
Mm,
and obviously Van Dijk, but
mm.
between those two signings, it was Sadio Mane who United sort of wanted him. We
We
knew there was
wanted
a
Mane
player
and
there,
Firmino.
but
We
there
wanted
wasn't like
Firmino and y'all wanted the Memphis.
yes. And I'm so glad about that. But
Yeah.
anyway, we picked up a
dodged the
Sadio
live one
Mane.
there.
We picked up a Gini Wijnaldum. We
Hmm.
picked up Joe Matip on a free. It was these little smart signings that just got us into a functioning team
And
rather
then
than
came
going for
Alisson,
the
Fabinho,
amazing
and
thing.
Van Dijk.
And then came Allison, Fabinho, and Van Dijk.
Hmm.
That then
I
took
think
us
uh,
to the next
yeah,
level.
Ellison and Van Dijk when they came in on the back of the Champions League.
No. It was Allison
No,
and Fabinho who came in.
Fabinho, yeah.
Van
yeah,
Dijk
yeah.
came in that January, and before that January, it looked like every game we played was going to end up 5-3 either way.
Mm.
And I think that City game
Actually,
did end
you know what?
5-3.
On your
And then
point
after
about
that
smart
City game,
signings,
that's
mm,
when we got Van Dijk. And immediately our defense just felt so
mm,
much more solid. And we just pushed to the Champions League final and fourth, which we didn't
I was
look
just
like we were
saying,
going to get at one time.
on your point on smart signings, McAllister, 35 million.
Yeah,
35 million for that.
yeah.
That's the smartest signing you could have made.
Jackson is 32 million.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Look,
but there's a
Jackson will
difference,
grow,
Islam.
but
McAllister
yeah,
That's a
has
joke.
probably
You
been our
missed the
third best
joke.
player this season.
You
McAllister is
missed the
one
joke.
step away from being world class. That's how I see him. He's one step away from being world class. Once
I
he's
think he's
able
there
to
already.
exert,
I think
not
he
yet,
hasn't played. I'll
not
tell you
yet.
why. I'll tell you why he's not there. Because he's been moved from his position all the time. He hasn't played 8
Yeah.
consistently for us. He's been
Mhm.
6, he's been 8, he's been a sort of 10. He hasn't been that ball retaining 8
And what's his best
the whole
attribute?
season. Alice
Dropping deep, McAllister
McAllister
dropping deep, picking up the ball, turning and
Well,
carrying
and
it.
moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
turning on the ball. It's so
Mm.
underrated.
And what do
So
United
underrated.
need? And what do United need? And who did we buy instead? Exactly.
I mean,
And the difference
Eriksen's
between
not
United
bad
and
at it.
Liverpool. Ericsson is, look, we've made enough heart
Okay,
attacks.
Eriksen wasn't
Let's-
bad at it before he had a heart attack.
No, but even last season, the first few months, Ericsson was like top quality for us, but then he had that season-ending injury, and ever since then
Yeah,
he's
and then he
been
came back. He came
washed,
back from there. I don't think he trusts his body.
washed,
I think he's
washed.
one player that's certain to leave Man
Yep,
United.
yep,
But I'd hate to go back to Man United, but I think there's plus minus 10 that
yep.
should go.
Ericsson, Casemiro, Mason Mount. Let's be honest with ourselves.
You want to cut
Anthony,
your losses with
no one's
Mason
gonna
Mount
want
right
him.
now?
What are we keeping Mason Mount for? Mason Mount is not a team leader. He's not
It's
an orchestrator.
brutal.
He can't
You
carry
just
the ball.
how much was it?
He doesn't
60
have
60 bar.
65. Yeah, 60, 65.
Same amount as
Get
Arsenal
this,
spent on
get this,
Havertz.
Ishlay, get this. If we waited, we could have gotten him for free. Even then, it would have
Yes.
still been a rip-off, but
4 months.
for free.
Had you
Yeah,
waited 4 months?
yeah.
Because
So
you
who
got him
did we
in.
sign? Yes, it was quite late, but if we waited for free. So who do we
You
sign? Who is the smart
you saw.
signing? So Lise is looked at as smart, but 60 million is not shrewd. You
It's
know, it's not
uh,
considered a
s-
small player that's
I
gonna
don't
blow
think
up.
I don't think smart signings exist in England anymore.
Yep.
Because
I
I
mean,
was
we pulled
looking
one
and
off
laughing.
last year, right?
Mm.
I think
But
it
that was a
ends
once
there.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen how much Newcastle have slapped the price tag on that Godden kid?
Oh, hold on. Newcastle made a smart signing. They're getting Lloyd Kelly for free.
For free. And Tosin Adebayo, I think that's his name, from Fulham, the centre
Yeah.
back, for free as well.
Yeah.
See,
Another good piece
there's
of
smart
business.
signings there. Even
No,
what they did.
when
Okay, I know
okay,
they paid a lot, but what they did to get that kid from Everton, Gordon, That was
Yeah,
smart.
that's
Mhm.
That was smart. So it's
and
there. Smart signings are there to be
But look
had.
at the
Newcastle
difference.
is
Look at
showing
the
you how to
difference.
do it.
What
do you know
month are
that
we in?
Liverpool actually want Gordon, and they've
Hmm.
Newcastle have
Look,
slapped 100 million
I'm
price tag on
okay.
him.
I'm okay without Gordon. I'm okay without
Mhm.
Gordon. That one is a bit too blue for me. Branthwaite we can talk about. I feel like some soap can help. Gordon's a bit too blue. He can stay. It's fine.
What? Oh, you can't wash that off.
Nah,
That stink
nah.
is there for life.
That stench is there for life. That
No, but I
stench
don't
is
think
there for
so.
life.
Because remember, he scored against Everton and he celebrated.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's also true. That's also true.
Everton
Mm,
have
so
Maybe he
some
was
good players.
like reverse Jamie. Maybe he was a red growing up and just found himself on the blue side.
Possibly, but I don't think
nah,
he gets it in the Liverpool team. I don't think he's better than Diaz. I know Gakpo has been iffy, but I certainly don't think he's better than Gakpo. And I don't think Salah is leaving next season. I don't
So
think so.
my thing with Salah is, and I thought about this a lot, because if he renews, then we keep him for another year and then we let him go. But if he doesn't renew, then we have to sell him now,
There's only 1 year
because
left.
yes, there's only
Ooh.
last year will be his last year, because he's too. I mean, next year, sorry, will be his last year. It's because he's worth too much to let him go on a free,
Hmm.
especially to Saudi, right? Edwards
Hmm.
is shrewd. He will sit down and weigh up his options. We rejected 100 mil at the start of the season. That was the right decision. But are we gonna reject like maybe 70 mil now?
no,
Probably not,
nah.
unless he signs a new contract. If he renews, then it's still a decision. Maybe you sort of reject it just for continuity's sake. But if he doesn't want to sign and you're getting 70 bar, you got to take
That's
it, right? You
because
got
I
to
think his
take it.
salary, they're
Yeah,
gonna bump up his salary properly.
he's also on the decline.
Yeah,
You have
he
to take
is.
that
He
into
Proper
is
note.
on the
decline. I
decline.
think anyone
He is on the
with
decline.
football knowledge can tell you that he's on a proper decline. That 70
His
Hmm.
million will be worth it.
For some reason, the first thing I noticed was it wasn't even his pace. I noticed his pace a little bit later. The first thing I noticed was his shot power after AFCON, after his injury. He can't shoot anymore with any power.
Hmm.
Whereas
Hmm.
True.
before, he would like curl those, and you're talking about how this guy looks like Leo Messi. Now it's like the keeper actually catches it.
Hmm.
Before AFCON, those were going in. Those were hitting the top corner.
If the
Now they're
pace
getting caught.
goes, he's in trouble. If the pace goes, he's kind of done. So I think
No, no,
challenging
no.
how the
Okay,
pace
so I
goes.
think and I think Klopp tried doing this, playing him at striker, because he
Mm,
has the positioning and he is a like cold finisher, but
Hmm.
he doesn't have he can't play with his back to goal like how
Hmm.
Mane could. So I don't know how. Oh, Klopp tried it and he wasn't too happy with the experiment, and then moved him wide again. So I think we could get another season out of him. But
mm,
He's in a
a
big
if
bit pushing
position.
it.
Saudi come and it's 70 bar and he doesn't want to sign a new contract, or he wants to sign a new contract but he wants too much money, then I wouldn't be against it,
So
provided
you'd be taking a
also I wouldn't
huge
be
gamble.
the thing is, though, I kind of like I'm not so much against it, because I kind of have faith that we'll make the right signing, because
Hmm.
we've made the right signing previously. Like, I know Diaz is not as good as Mane, but he was still the right signing to make,
Hmm.
right? Like that kind of example. And McAllister is an absolute steal. So I know it will probably also not be Olise. It'll probably be someone we're not thinking of. And then that person will sort of just fit in and it'll look like, it makes sense.
But
Jeremy Pino from
you're
Villarreal
forgetting
or someone like that.
you're forgetting one very important dynamic that you kind of like glossed over.
I
Klopp is leaving.
don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about
Yeah.
it.
Just
I
just
don't
just
want to
Um,
talk
saying.
about it.
Uncle
Sorry,
Ani
what?
at the wheel.
I think let's
Ani
close
Uncle
it
at the
off.
Arnie
wheel.
at the wheel. No, look,
Let
the Klopp thing, like, man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get to the weekend. Like, I don't want to see next weekend,
You're
next
gonna
week
be all
Sunday.
emotional. Who are you
Is it's
playing Sunday?
coming with Wolves.
It's at
Wolves.
home. Is it at
It's
home?
at home. It's a
Oh,
home
it's a
Oh,
game.
home
okay.
game.
Well, that's going to
Yeah.
be a beautiful send-off. I'm just glad he's
Yeah.
not being sent off with a major trophy. Like for me personally, I'm just very happy
Yeah,
he's
the
not
hate
being
is
sent off.
proper.
Yeah, like knowing that he's leaving with a Premier League title with an asterisk next to it, with a Champions League, but his last trophy is a Carabao Cup.
That is a
Even with a
proper
challenge.
Premier League title. That is a City did not
What's
get
the
the
asterisk?
amount of points that we had at the point that the league paused.
No, no, true. I'm not denying that. But but I mean
If
like
there
winning
is no,
three and
if you want to start putting asterisks on things, I have 115 things that I can point you towards.
yeah, that is true. That is
Tushel,
true. I mean, yeah,
when we started the show before we went live, you went in and
yeah.
you said, why is Shivar so loud? I think you've woken that demon because like now he just went from he was here, he was comfortable, and then he's here now.
I think Klopp is definitely going to be missed. And look, I don't know much about Ani. I don't think any one of us do. None of us
Didn't
have
know
heard. It's
he existed.
Feyenoord, right?
Didn't
It's
know he
Feyenoord.
existed.
I think it is Feyenoord
Fine note.
that he's
So
on.
there's a
Yeah.
guy at work that actually watches the Eredivisie. I don't know why he watches the Eredivisie or how he watches the Eredivisie, but he does. And he says
He
that
should have told
before
us.
he was at
He should have given a warning about Ten Hag. But anyway,
so what he said was before he was at Feyenoord, that club was very sad when Arnie left, and now at Feyenoord they're saying like he's their greatest ever manager. He got them
Mhm.
to I think the Conference League final, and then he's won the Eredivisie, and now I think they're second. Um,
Yes,
so
it was them that West Ham beat. It was
I
them that
think
West
so.
Ham beat
I
last
think
year.
so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think so. So he's really really well liked, but
Hmm.
I don't know how it translates. I don't know how it
he's
translates.
going to be replacing. Yeah,
And
yeah.
also, I just want to say, right, quite a bit of work. I mean, exactly. Firstly, how do you follow Klopp? And secondly, there's only three managers that have won the lot in England, and that's Ferguson, Pep, and Klopp. Right?
Hmm.
Nobody else has won everything. Not Jose, not Wenger, nobody. So
Hmm.
you might,
Oh,
you
as a
might,
Premier League club or in their careers?
no, in England, in
Oh yeah,
England.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think Jose did win the Champions League with
Inter
Madrid
and Porto.
or Inter.
Inter and
Inter, yeah, yeah,
Porto.
yeah. So it's literally just the three of them that have won every single trophy that was available, or major
Hmm.
trophy. Sorry. So either way, like he probably should have another league title. He probably should have had another Champions League. Like, one of those three finals could have gone differently. But
But didn't.
he still leaves he still leaves as one of the best managers the Premier League's ever seen.
Uh, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
In your world, in
yeah. I,
isolation, yeah.
I also I also wouldn't say one of the greatest ever because I think it goes Ferguson first, obviously, but then you've got Wenger, you've got Mourinho, you've got
I
Ancelotti.
think I actually think he goes in
Careful,
ahead of Wenger.
careful.
He does not go in ahead of
Ooh,
Wenger. Wenger has a gold
I'll
Premier League
tell you
I
trophy.
was
why. I'll tell
I
you
was
why
about
he
to
goes in
warn
ahead
you.
of
I was
Wenger.
about to warn you that careful with what you're gonna say
I'll tell
next.
you why he
Yeah.
goes in ahead of Wenger because the first 10 years of Wenger, I completely agree. He doesn't go in ahead of the first 10 years of Wenger. The second 10 years of Wenger, like, come on, there's a gap there.
Hmm.
There's a gap there, and there's a German with a
No,
big smile on his face that's
no.
coming and taking it.
Klopp has won what is it? 7 trophies in 9 seasons.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's 7 in 9, which is a very good ratio. But then Wenger has multiple Premier League titles. One of them is gold. They've won the most FA
But
Cups.
also remember what Klopp was competing against. And he's
Mm.
got 90 points 3 times.
But he only
And he's going to
won the
finish on
league
80
once.
something again now. Yeah, look, yes, he's only won the league once. But we also have to take into consideration
Don't forget
what
the
he's been
asterisk for
competing
that.
against.
Yeah.
No. The asterisk is on the 115 things that he was competing against, right? Wenger wasn't competing against an asterisk. No one was cheating to beat, allegedly. I'm sorry, apparently we're legally obligated to say that. Nobody was allegedly cheating to beat Wenger.
We want cheating to be Wenger. Let's just get that out of the way. But I just wanted to ask, since Pep came into the Premier League, did Chelsea ever finish second?
No.
No,
I know
no,
that they finished first the season he came.
yeah,
Chelsea either
we go
finished
big.
first or like
Yeah, we
13th.
go home.
There's
Yeah.
no,
Like
they
there's
don't
no
believe in
finish.
second.
I mean, if they strip away City's titles, I'm very happy to have a league title for
Nah, they won't strip
Mourinho
them.
and for Solskjaer.
They won't strip them.
Yeah.
So the thing is, if they strip away the titles, I don't think it's fair to give. And I'm saying this, we should have another 3, but I don't think it's fair to give the team in second place the title if they strip away the title,
Definitely.
because they didn't beat what was put in front of them to win it. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I think we can call it, gents.
I'd love it if
predictions for
they do,
tonight?
but I don't think they should. Look, I
Predictions for
honestly
tonight.
think it's
there,
2 teams that
Pizzo is
are,
right. There we go.
and Klopp was up against Pep and Mourinho.
I mean, I would hardly call that being up against Mourinho. It was like,
He
yeah,
was
no,
up
that's
against
fair.
Mourinho. He
Mourinho
was
was
up
there. He
against
got
Mourinho.
second.
I'm not talking
Who was-
about. I'm not
wait,
talking
wait,
about
wait.
Spurs. I'm talking about when Mourinho. Klopp
Was
was
it
actually up
Chelsea?
against Mourinho 3 times: Chelsea, Spurs, and United.
But I
15,
don't think he
16.
stood any chance with Mourinho at Chelsea.
Yeah, he wouldn't have.
Well, yeah,
He wouldn't
because
I remember this
because
one game we piped
actually
them.
no, I don't think he was up against Mourinho at Chelsea.
15,
I think
16,
Mourinho
Mourinho
got
was sacked in
sacked just
November.
because. No, then there was a bit of an overlap there. There was a bit of an overlap there.
Yeah. Predictions
But now
tonight,
he's
guys,
leaving.
before we close it
Now
off.
he's leaving.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. We have nothing to play for. Villa have nothing to play for. Could be
What's the
anything really.
point difference? Oh yeah, the gap is
The
too
point
big.
difference, it's
78,
we will finish
67,
third.
10 point. Yeah, third is yours.
I think
But I think it's a pride thing
if
more than
you
anything.
if you all beat Villa, then Spurs have an opportunity to make Champions League. So they'll probably push against City.
I'm gonna
It's a
say
very
this
against
again.
City.
I'm gonna say
6 to
this
6.
again.
Yeah,
Guys,
guys. I think let's call it when our before this goes about Spurs all over again. Okay, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. There's a comment that just came through. Make some awesome club docu material. No trophy, but anyway,
Yes,
we call
no,
it,
there's enough
guys.
trophies. He's got enough trophies there.
Not this
Even
season,
won
but
this
anyway,
year.
not this season. So the parade is just going to be purely on the what cup did they win? Was it the energy drink cup?
Nah, I don't think
last year,
there'll be a
Tuesday, last
parade.
year it was just by energy. It was the energy
No,
drink.
don't
cup.
start
It
with
was
me.
this.
No. Last year it was the 7-Up Cup.
One Red
The year
Bull Cup.
before when we won it, it was an energy drink cup. Nobody cares about it. And then you guys won it and started pretending like you won the Champions League. What happened the very next game?
I mean, look,
Guys,
7 years without anything does that to a family.
well, it makes you thirsty for anything.
Any energy drink you could find, we drank that cup. But look, let's end it before this becomes another debate. We talked about United. I don't want to talk about United anymore. Gonna change my track. Gonna sleep. Gonna watch the Villa game. United.
The Villa
season is
game.
done. Yeah, the
Oh,
season
he doesn't
ended
even
in
recognize you, but it's fine. He doesn't even recognize you. I think let's call it, guys.
Yes,
Once again,
Okay,
sir.
thanks
cool,
for
gents.
tuning in. It was, yeah, that was brilliant. Let me end the stream. Cheers, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers.